Sometimes letting go is as simple as exhaling. And Patanjali, who is a major player in the world of yoga, one of the authors writing the Mahabharata, um, many of you have heard of the Bhagavad Gita. These are all epic novels with incredible messages. But basically, suffice to say, Patanjali says, you know, when our minds are worried, nervous, anxious, just exhale. And the interesting thing is that our mind says, that isn't going to work. Our mind is pretty sure about everything. In fact, I said a few weeks ago, it's a Yogi Bearism. I think he was a baseball coach, but it's not what we know that gets us into trouble, it's what we know for sure. And if we can just remember to exhale whenever life is throwing us a curveball, and these days there seem to be a lot more, exhale and consider that you're taking your focus out of your mind, out of your head, and into your heart. The heart is a place that, of course, it feels a lot, but it's generally influenced by the mind. Whatever the mind's thinking, the heart ends up feeling. And I have a wonderful um, bit of prose that I want to read to you, but I'd like to do it as our meditation. And just before we get to that, however, there was something else I wanted to share with you, because one of the things I've mentioned about meditation is that you don't have a goal. You are not striving. I know that many books talk about concentrating, and it's true. In Sanskrit, when we talk about the 8 limbs of yoga, we start with the yamas and the niyamas. So those are the personal restraints, not lying, not stealing, not hoarding, etc. And then we get into the universal observations of the yamas of contentment, cleanliness of both mind and body, self-awareness through self-study, which is part of what we're doing. The third rung of the ladder is asana. This is yoga postures. This is the physical act. Also, karma yoga fits in with the asana practice. So any selfless service that we do fits in with the asana, the physical. Then we move into pranayama, breathing exercises, and breathing is a major part. So you'll notice these are the steps that we take to reach a place of peace and calm. So pranayama, higher than asana. Then we have pratyahara. So when we close our eyes and when we find ourselves in a room where there's very little noise, if any at all, it helps us go inward. So the meaning of pratyahara is to withdraw the senses so that we can go inside. And I remind you of the analogy that inside of us is like the bottom of an ocean. It can be gnarly with riptides, crashing waves, wind, just really wild weather. But at the bottom, inside of us and at the bottom of the ocean, it's calm, it's peaceful, it's always there, as it always was and always will be. So when we withdraw our senses of sight, obviously taste, because we're not eating, drinking, just being still. The next level after pratyahara is dharana, and that is concentration. But so this is the point I wanted to make. We're not trying to analyze. We're not trying to make any decisions or choices about anything at all. So when we say concentration, it's just really focused awareness. So just being aware right now of how you're sitting, whether it's cross-legged, in a firm chair, keeping your spine long and straight. That's all you're concentrating on. That's it. Focused awareness that you are sitting in a way that allows the body and the mind to be connected. So that's dharana. Dhyana, meditation. And then the 8th rung of the ladder is samadhi. Most of us, mere mortals, will not experience long sessions in samadhi. We have glimpses of it. It can be those moments or watching a sunrise or a sunset or seeing a puppy play with a child. They're bliss, okay? These moments are blissful. Obviously, making love can also be those that time of samadhi where you are not anywhere other than in the middle of bliss, but it doesn't last that long. So people who are very practiced, saints and sages, they spend a lot of time in samadhi where there is no separation, no division, no derision. There's no worry, there's no tension, there's no stress. They are completely connected to this beautiful place. But so the thing that I wanted to share with you first, while you're getting comfortable, is this. You know, if the idea was to reach the goal as quickly as possible, the best musicians would be the ones that reached the end of the song the fastest. And that's an absurd idea. So the thought and the idea is that the process of healing ourselves, our relationships, and our world, we have to let go of the idea of getting to that place as quickly as possible. Or maybe we're trying to heal our bodies. Whatever that is, we need to let go. All this stuff is in the mind, all this scheduling, and it's this very anxiety that prevents us from appreciating the magnificence of every stop along the way. Now, I recognize with illness, we might not feel that magnificence. But when we are dealing with something life-threatening or losing someone, whatever that is, we're also going to have those moments of the love, the memories, the joy, the appreciation, the opportunities. These are potent. And if we rush to try to figure everything out or control a situation, we miss out. So as is the case for the musician, savoring every note as being as important as the entire song, the same could or should be said of savoring every second of the process of reaching the ideal of becoming fully realized humans. That will be a subject for another day. So don't let your mind go into, oh, what does that look like? That is, there seems to be an ongoing judgment that bad feelings must be worked on to be resolved, to get out of the way. I do this next thing. We pray to God or meditate to remove our pain. Well, God didn't create our pain. So how can He remove it? Rather, why not pray to God or meditate to help us change our mind about the thoughts that create the pain? Because that's where it starts. It's between our ears. Yeah, stuff happens. But honestly, if we're so busy fretting, worrying, and being anxious, we're going to miss the beautiful things that come out of the problems or the pain or the whatever it was. Don't so this meditation today is really about letting the breath sink into the heart. All right? And maybe into the gut, as you will find out in a moment. So every second of the process is valuable. Every second holds infinite potential within it. The moment we hold as precious our experience of pain as we do joy, now that's a huge leap, I get that. But sometimes that's all it takes for the pain to resolve, to let it go. The best musician doesn't only play the beautiful notes, he plays them all. And together, that's a symphony. Okay, so let's settle in. If you need to, wiggle around and let that which is touching the ground settle down. Close your eyes. Make sure your shoulders are over your hips and that your head is centered between your shoulders. Rest your hands on your thighs. Palms can be faced up or down, whatever feels comfortable. Check in with your jaw. Separate the biting surfaces of the teeth, and let's take a deep breath in. And exhale deeply and fully. Take another deep breath in through the nostrils, unless you're plugged. Then take a deep exhale. One more deep breath in. And go ahead, exhale through your mouth. So the title of this is called My Brain and Heart Divorced. My brain and heart divorced a decade ago over who was to blame about how big of a mess I have become. Eventually, they couldn't even be in the same room with each other. Now my head and heart share custody of me. I stay with my brain during the week, and my heart gets me on weekends. They never speak to one another. Instead, they give me the same note to pass to each other every week. And the notes they send to one another always says the same thing. This is all your fault. On Sundays, my heart complains about how my head has let me down in the past. And on Wednesday, my head lists all of the times my heart has screwed things up for me in the future. They blame each other for the state of my life. There's been a lot of yelling and crying. So lately, I've been spending a lot of time with my gut, who serves as my unofficial therapist most nights. I sneak out of the window in my rib cage and I slide down my spine and collapse on my gut's plush leather chair that's always open for me. And I just sit, and sit until the sun comes up. Last evening, my gut asked me if I was having a hard time being caught between my heart and my head. I had to nod. I said I didn't know if I could live with either one of them anymore. My heart is always sad about something that happened yesterday, while my heart is always worried about something that may happen tomorrow. My gut squeezed my hand. I just can't live with my mistakes of the past or my anxiety about the future. I sighed. My gut smiled and said, in that case, you should go stay with your lungs for a while. I was confused. The look on my face gave it away. Well, if you're exhausted about your heart's obsession with the fixed past and your mind's focused on the uncertain future, your lungs are the perfect place for you. There is no yesterday in your lungs, and there's no tomorrow there either. There is only now. There is only inhale, and there's only exhale. And there is only this moment. There is only breath. And in that breath, you can rest while your heart and head work out their relationship. So this morning, while my brain was busy reading tea leaves, and while my heart was staring at old photographs, I packed a little bag, I walked to the door of my lungs, and before I could even knock, she opened the door with a smile, and as a gust of air embraced me, she said, "What took you so long?" So stay with your lungs, breathing in, breathing out. This is your place of refuge. Allow your belly to fill and empty. As you let go and know that the breath brings in new life, force, and releases worry, tension and stress. There is no doubt the mind wants to get involved. So we're not trying to fix or control what the mind naturally does. We need it. We just don't need our minds to be the boss of us. We need to remember that the answers don't usually lie in the mind. They eventually arrive in your mind, but they're not birthed there. And there'll be a gestation period. Inside of you. So you're not trying to figure anything out. You are maestro of your symphony. And sometimes it will be sounding like Beethoven's Joy of My Soul, or it may be the Sorrowful Symphony. All of it has its own beauty. All of it has its own rhythm. All of it is part of life. I believe it was Anne Frank who said, "We would never know joy if we didn't know pain. We would never appreciate the sun if it weren't for the rain." Noticing the movements of your body as you receive the new life force, your rib cage, your belly, your chest. Even noticing the weight of your hands on your thighs. Maybe even noticing a discomfort from sitting. Simply be aware, without blame, without shame. Recognize the magnificence of your beingness. The mind is not really capable. It has its work, and we appreciate the mind. But we can't live completely in our minds. We need to unplug, turn it off as best we can. And be in our breath. Our stillness and our beingness is where our greatness is realized and recognized. The more we can be in touch with the preciousness of this moment, the more alive, the more free and light we feel. Gravity is not part of the picture, nor our worries or anxieties. Breathing in fully, exhaling completely. Allowing the corners of your mouth to curl up ever so slightly, like the Buddha. In peace and appreciation. For the moment. For the breath. For the opportunity to simply be. Continue to breathe. For the next few moments with awareness, gratitude, in pure, caring awareness. Keeping your eyes closed. Bring your hands together into prayer. Lightly press your thumbs up against your sternum, sitting tall. Inhale. Exhale, bow to your own hearts. At this time, if you wish, a prayer or an intention for your day can be said in silence. Inhale, bring your head back up. Rub your palms together vigorously, generating heat and warmth. And then cup them over your eyes, bathing them in this blue-black warmth. And slowly wash the side of your face. Open your eyes, take a big breath in. Smile as you exhale. And know that when you continue to practice throughout the week for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, that if you're feeling impatient or judgmental or hopeless, it's in your mind. That's where that stuff comes from. It's part of your ego. You've got to get out of that place. It can't do everything for you, and it can spoil your best laid plans, intentions, and a practice that I know if you stick with, you'll have this beautiful tool to take you to the place of peace that passeth all understanding. Have a beautiful day. Namaste.